very cold out here in Delhi. That's why we bring you another cool car, the new Kia Carens, which builds on top of the success of the Seltos and Sonet. It's kind of the younger sibling to the Kia Carnival, and in typical Kia style, it brings a lot of style, a lot of creature comforts, and is loaded with tech. And that's why we're doing a car and bike tech check to figure out what all cool tech is inside the new Carens. Now, before we do a deep dive into the tech inside this car, I had to pick up a colleague of mine. So in this review, we guys are doing things a little differently. While I'm going to be taking care of all the technology in the front row, my friend and colleague Pratik is going to be telling you all about the creature comforts on the back two rows, and there's a lot happening there. But back to the front, and everything starts with the virtual instrument cluster. 12.5 inches, very clear, a slight matte finish to the screen. You see the speedometer, the rev counter, loads of details. Obviously, it will tell you how much fuel is left. It will give you details around speed traps, the temperature, how much mileage the car has done. Basically, all the information that you'll need presented in a very clear way, very simple way. And you can also change the colors because this car comes with a bunch of themes. And here we have the star of the show. The 10.25-inch infotainment screen. And while on the Sonet and the Seltos we have seen a 10.25-inch display before, this one seems to be different. It is more integrated into this panel, so you don't see as much bezel, which is nice, and it seems a little more vivid as well. And the UI has changed. The UI looks much cleaner, more simpler, and kind of more attractive as well, because you get these purplish icons which are very minimal, and they kind of remind you of some of those Android icons that you can download from third-party sources, and looks pretty sci-fi, to be honest. And generally, it comes with all the features that one would come to expect from a Kia, and it does most of those things in a more simpler, more elegant way. Of course, it also comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also get this new split screen look, so you can easily shuffle back to what's happening in your main infotainment system, and also in parallel run maybe Apple Music or whatever apps you are running on your phone. Basically, everything is getting beamed via the phone, via Apple CarPlay. But the one unfortunate thing that I am a little salty about is the fact that I have to still use a wire out here. It's not a wireless system, and that is a bit of a miss considering many cars in the segment now offer it. You get it on the Tygoon, you even get on some of the more affordable Kia cars like the Sonet. So it's a little bewildering that they haven't chosen to offer wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But thankfully, this car does offer wireless charging, and it comes with this really nice rubberized pad which also provides some cooling, and even a big phone like an iPhone 13 Pro Max with a case can easily slot in, and it stays secure even if you're driving on a bumpy road or you're on a highway and are at high speed. So this will keep it secured and is a very nice solution. You get a Type-C fast charging port out here, and also an old school USB Type-A port which is necessary for connecting the phone to the infotainment screen. And you also get, in typical Kia fashion, a Bose sound system. 8 speakers, quite a lot, but generally you get the typical sterile Bose sound signature, so it's not very bass heavy, it's pretty neutral. Sound can get a bit muddy when you go at higher volumes and can be a little shrill and trebly, but you can sort of EQ it using the controls in the infotainment screen and sort of boost up the mid levels, and it will give you a pretty pleasing sound signature, especially if you like Bollywood or like modern pop, something like The Weeknd, which I've been hearing a lot of late. So overall, a very well-rounded package. Kia is introducing Kia Connect for the first time in India with the Carens. Kia Connect is a refresh to Yuvo Connect, which has been its connected car stack. This is more of a visual refresh than a complete redo. There are overall 66 features, which is quite a significant jump from the 50 odd features Yuvo Connect had. Kia has dumped the skeuomorphic design language on Yuvo Connect for something that's more minimal and straightforward to use. It does geofencing, remote unlock, can kickstart the climate control remotely, and also help with car telematics. It also gets a dedicated Kia Connect button for voice commands on the rear view mirror. It is a nice upgrade all in all. But there are even more features on the back 2 rows. Something Pratik will enlighten us about.
Now Sahil has given us a detailed lowdown on all the tech that you get at the front. On the second row and as well as the third row, you get a lot of features as well. First of all, you get your own individual aircon vents for both the seats, which can be regulated from the rotary knob that you get in the second row. The other thing that you get is your own individual reading lamps, which is quite useful when you want to read and you want on the move. It's nighttime and everybody else are probably lounging. You can turn on your reading lamps and start reading. Now, the third feature that you get here is your own individual charging slots. Now, you can charge from a Type A slot from here, but because I have a Type C charging phone, so my solution is to use an adapter, and I've used it and it does charge pretty well, and you do get a rapid charging as well. Once you get connected, you can just slot your phone here in a storage space that Kia is offering for both the seats, and it's a quite comfortable drive after that. Now that was about the third row. Let's get on to the second row, because that's where the party piece of the Kia Carens is. Now we've hopped on to the second row of the Kia Carens, and before we get to the party piece of the Carens, we will check out some of the other features that you get. First of all, you get your own individual roof mounted aircon vents as the third row, which can be regulated from this rotary knob here. The other feature that you get is a parcel tray for your lunch, or if you want to keep your laptop or your drink. The other feature that you get is these 2 USB charging slots that have fast charging capacity. And moving on, you also get a cooled compartment for beverages, your soft beverages, whatever you want to keep here and get it cooled, you can do that. You also get a switch to switch it on and off so it doesn't get overcooled. Now let's get to the party piece, as we said. This is the new Smart Pure Air virus protection and bacteria protection, which Kia is offering with the Carens, and this is quite cool. And if you consider nowadays with the rising pollution and the pandemic, this probably works very well for the buyer that is going to buy this car. You get different modes. There's an auto mode which will let the purifier work on its own. Then you have different modes. You can control the pressure that you want, so that if you want the car to get purified quickly, then you can switch the modes. There's a display function as well, so you can dim the light or turn it off. Then you also have a filter usage that shows what kind of a filter that is getting used, and obviously the power button to switch it off and on. The other cool feature that you get is below the purifier there is slot to remove the perfume cartridge and replace it with 2 other fragrances that Kia is offering. In total there are 3: lavender, ocean, and the one that is currently being used. You can simply remove it from here and replace the cartridge from any Kia authorized dealerships and slot it back in and start it from the main infotainment system. The other cool feature with the Smart Air Purifier is that you can remove the HEPA filter and the normal filter, get it clean, and again slot it back in with no harm done.
It's freezing, man.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up quite quickly. What are your thoughts, Pratik?
So I spent a considerable amount of time on the second row and the third row, and honestly there are creature features that you get over here as well, and that could simplify your life even further. You get the charging sockets, you get your own AC vents, and honestly that's all a third row passenger would require, and it fulfills it pretty well. Coming back to the second row, actually coming forward to the second row, the purifier that you get works really well. We tried it out for quite some time. We opened all the doors, we opened all the windows, and then we closed it, and when we tried it to all its extent, and it works pretty decently.
So all in all, I feel that there are a lot of features. It's really loaded.
Definitely.
In fact, even on the front row, technology wise, you're getting a lot out here. But there is one key miss. That is the absence of wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, because that's already there in cars that start at around 8 or 9 lakhs, which is like the
more
Nissan
affordable vehicles.
So a car which will almost definitely be upwards of 15 lakh rupees, at least in this trim, that is a big miss, because it's a huge convenience thing. If you're sitting in the back row and it's a chauffeur driven car, you can only activate it through the connector on the front seat. So that means you need a long cable. And if it's a self-driven car, it's not going to be a great experience regardless. Apart from that, it ticks all the boxes. The screen is great. The virtual instrument cluster is pretty sci-fi. Speakers are pretty decent. That's always been the case with Kia cars. The air purifier is really cool. They've upgraded it from what we had on the Sonnet. There's a lot happening out here. You even have that refrigeration unit.
The cooling box
yeah.
for the second row, yes.
So,
I can easily cool my beverage.
So this car is going to be pretty great for going on long trips actually.
Definitely.